Praise the Lord and good morning, Bible Way. It is a blessing and an honor to be before you once again. Believe it or not, it's been 266 days since we last had in-person service here at the Bible Way Church of Atlas Road. That was our last service, and actually at that service we talked about COVID-19 and the increase in cases that we were seeing at that time. And obviously at that time there were a lot of unknowns, there were a lot of things that we didn't know about this new and this impending pandemic. But one thing was very clear at the time, that we knew this was going to be something that we've never seen before. Since that time in South Carolina, we've tested and we've given out over nearly 3 million tests of COVID-19. We've had more than 200,000 cases diagnosed in South Carolina and over 4,000 deaths just in South Carolina. And at this time, 1 in 5 tests that are given are positive. Now, while the death rates have overall fallen, the pandemic peak is still upon us. We see that we are increasing cases all around us. Black Americans are 37% more likely to die than whites. Now, while the black population in South Carolina makes up 27% of our state, COVID deaths among blacks, we rank as 50% of the deaths. So there's a big disparity in what we see. Well, we've grown accustomed now to wearing these masks when in public. We've gotten accustomed to wearing, face shields in some cases. We've washed our hands more frequently, and we've, been attending virtual church services. We have essentially abandoned the handshake as a way to greet each other, which is quite different for most of us. Our understanding of COVID-19 has grown, and we are just days away from being able to offer vaccinations for those who are at the highest risk. Now, while so much has changed in this time, some things have remained the same. Social and physical distancing is still one of the best ways to prevent transmission. And we're grateful that our pastor and our church have made some hard decisions and some tough sacrifices have been made. We've committed to nearly 100% virtual format for meetings, for Bible study, for prayer service, morning worship. It's demanded that we all recognize that we are Bible Way Church and not the physical building on Atlas Road. And for a little time longer, we're still going to need to commit to that virtual service plan and to wearing masks. We have to continue to maintain physical and social distancing. And obviously, if you need to get a test, you have to know where to find those tests. And the DHEC website and with church has lots of information on how you can find these tests. But get a test if someone you have been around tests positive, or if you develop symptoms. And we've talked about those symptoms before. While fever is the most commonly described initial symptoms, some patients only present with a loss of taste or smell, and other people actually feel well. Patients also may present with headaches, dizziness, cough, nausea, vomiting, and there are lots of mobile testing sites that are available to you if you have any of these symptoms. You can also get tested at over 220 permanent COVID testing facilities all around the state. Now, as vaccinations are offered, we also have to ask very tough questions about their availability to most at-risk communities who will benefit the most from them. We also have to educate ourselves, our community, and our congregation about the purpose of vaccinations, the side effects of vaccinations, and the safety of it so that we can make well-informed decisions. As I wrap up, I just want to mention a term called caution fatigue. It's a term where we actually don't believe the warnings to be real or relevant. As you imagine, if you've set your alarm clock ever and your alarm clock's been ringing, your brain is designed to function and to manage threats. And so just as our brains will perceive a ringing alarm, and it will actually, you ever sleep through a ringing alarm? At some point, your body gets adjusted to it, and so therefore, you take longer to respond to it, or you ignore the warning altogether. Do you remember 266 days ago when the lockdowns were first announced? How fully charged and collectively everybody worked to flatten the curve, and most of us were consistently keeping up with ways to ensure that we did not get infected or we did not infect someone else. Now, many weeks in, the prolonged combination of stress, anxiety, isolation, and our disrupted routines has left many people feeling drained. And as the motivation dips, people are growing laxer about social distancing guidelines and potentially putting themselves and others in harm's way. My recommendation to you is to fight off this fatigue at this very crucial time. We want to take care of your physical and your mental health. And just remind yourself, just because we're socially isolated does not mean we have to be socially disconnected. Please don't assume that if you've not gotten sick, that you won't in the future. Limit the number of people at your holiday gatherings, because the more people who attend a gathering, the greater the chances that somebody in the party will be carrying the virus, and even that someone may be someone that you know and love. Remember, 1 out of 5 tests are positive. And I'll leave you with a verse from Galatians 6 and 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing. Or in other words, let us not get tired of doing the right thing. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the Bible Church of Atlas Road.
A special thank you to Dr. Cedrek McFadden for that wonderful update. Cedric is one of our brightest stars in the medical profession. We are so very proud of him. He and his family actually lives in Greenville, and they drive every week here to worship and to be a part of this virtual experience. Cedric has done interviews on not only local television stations, but also on national stations. And so we are very proud of him and very fortunate to have him as a resource here at the Bible Church of Atlas Road. I wanted to also stand on this first Sunday in the month of December just to give you a very brief update on where we are ministry-wise. Dr. McFadden touched on that, but to say thank you to you also. On March 17th, Tuesday, March 17th, we started the virtual services. We have had virtual services since March the 17th. No one thought it would last this long. But I am very proud of the decisions I think we've made as a ministry to put your safety first. Have absolutely no regrets for doing that. And I know that it has been uncomfortable for some not to be in worship service on a Sunday morning or on a Tuesday night, or even our local ministries. But they've done such a fantastic job in connecting to each other virtually. They have done a great job in staying in touch with others. We've even expanded our church membership with those who live in different states, those who live in different countries, who, as a result of these virtual services, have become a part of our church family, and we are so grateful for that. A question that we are often asked is that, when do you think, Pastor Jackson, we will get back in service? The answer is, I really don't know. We are listening to the experts like Dr. McFadden, to Dr. Linda Bell from DHEC, and to others, even within our congregation, others in the health profession who've called us. Dr. Okereke, he and his wife, both are physicians, and many others who've given me personal advice, given us advice on how we should handle this pandemic. And I would tell you that it is important for us to, when we return, that we return safely and that we do what is best. You heard Cedric share some statistics. Perhaps the one that is sad, the one that breaks our heart more than any others, the death rates among African Americans. Although we make up 27% of the state's population, the death rate, 50% of all those who've lost their lives to COVID in South Carolina have been African Americans. So that tells us that we're at higher risk. It tells us that because of perhaps some underlying conditions, perhaps for the lack of quality health services that they have not enjoyed throughout their lives, many African Americans suffer disproportionately. And so all of those things are things that we've considered. Perhaps there are other ministries that have taken other steps and done things that are different. And we do not judge them. We respect their decisions. But God said to us, this is what we should do. Now let me thank you. Let me thank you for embracing this virtual experience. I never thought at the beginning that this would be something that I would even enjoy. But I must confess that I've enjoyed the opportunity to share with those all over the world. I've been touched by the many letters and cards that we've received from those in all parts of the world to say, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for allowing us to worship together. The good news is that the virus has not won, that God is still on the throne. And although we may not be able to touch and hug and to greet each other the way we normally would, we thank God that we still have an opportunity to worship together. And so as we seek advice, as we hear from the experts, we will come back and let you know there is no certain date for our return back to live services. In all likelihood, it would not be in January. It would be when the experts say to us, now it is safe. A vaccine is around the corner. Let me also urge as many of you as possible that when it is available, to take advantage of it. I know we have faith, but faith without works is useless and dead. I will tell you that I will be one of the first in line to take the vaccine. And it's not because I don't have faith. It is because I want to do everything that is safe, not only for me, but my family, for this congregation and others. So I urge you to make up your mind, to convince your family members and others to do that. Listen, we take polio vaccines. We've taken vaccines throughout the years that have protected us. And because of vaccines right now, polio is not as deadly as what it was many, many years ago. And so don't be deceived. Don't act as if you are superhuman. And please, please, don't act super deep. Okay? This is not a spiritual decision. This is a health decision. And you need to do the right thing. Again, thank you. Thank the members and friends of the Bible Way Church of Atlas Road. Thank you for your understanding. A special thank you to all that have worked behind the scenes, from our business office to our worship team, to our media team, to others, names that you would never hear called, those who have kept this ministry going. God gets the glory. I'll leave you with a special quote that you've often heard me say. My dad shared it with me. He says, if it doesn't matter with you who gets the credit, God will always get the glory. And that has been our motto. That has been our theme. That has been our mantra throughout this. Really doesn't matter who gets the credit. We want God to get the glory. Every ministry, every virtual ministry, I pray for their success. Bible Way's goal is not to be the best or the largest. We just want to be one that God uses to further the kingdom on this earth. So thank you. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Keep listening. Share it with others. Share this service. Share these messages. Send us your email. We send out email messages at least twice or more every week. And if we don't have your email, send it to us. We want to put you in our data bank so that we can communicate with you. Thank you again. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your faithfulness. May God bless.
For additional announcements and for more information, be sure to visit our website at bwcar.org.